everybody. Welcome to Awakening from the Haze, a virtual bonfire. I'm your host today. My name is Cindy Wilson. I'm speaking to you from the absolutely beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains in Southwest Virginia, and I welcome you. I'm so excited that you're here with me today on this beautiful Valentine's Day, the day of love. I would argue that every day is a day of love, but this one is the celebrated day of. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself before we get started, just to give you a little idea of how a mother of 3 grown children, a retired nurse, ended up making a YouTube recording. That is a story in itself. About 12 years ago, I went through a really hard time, a really bad breakup. It was one that stung, and I went into a state of depression that I absolutely could not pull myself out of. It was very difficult. But during that period of time, I created a Facebook page called Sunshine for the Soul, and I started making these memes. When memes first started, I had a Microsoft publisher, and I would take photographs and upload my photos and then put messages on them. And I found that during that really time of deep depression, that Sunshine for the Soul and me giving back to others, shining what little light that I felt I had at the time, but being willing to surrender and not think about myself and think about others, it pulled me out. And Sunshine for the Soul has sat in for about 12 years. I haven't really done much with it, but at this time, I feel that it is important for me to fulfill one of my destinies, which is to be a greater positive influence to anyone and everyone that I can. There's so many humans on this planet right now going through a massive energetic and spiritual shift. Everyone has a different belief or opinion as to what our earth is experiencing right now. Some would call it the end times, some would call it the apocalypse, some the shift. Some would call it a spiritual awakening, and some will refer to it as Ascension. I have found along my journey that all are correct, depending on your perspective and the reality that you would like to create. My ascension, or spiritual awakening as I like to refer to it as, began in January 2020 with a tower moment. If you're wondering what a tower moment is, in tarot there is a tower card where the burning building and people are jumping out and everything falls apart all at one time. And in January 2020, that pretty much happened to me. I quit my nursing career. I ended my marriage all within the same week. I felt like wherever I was at was not correct, and it was suffocating me. It forced me to make a move, and it forced me to make some changes. And I'm very appreciative of that. It's been a long road. And my ascension started with the simplest little thing as number synchronicities. We see them all over the place, but we don't really pay attention to them. We look at our clocks or our cell phones or our computers and we watch the time. But when 222, 333, 111, 444, 1212, 1010 start bombarding you, it gets your attention. At first it was subtle, like one here or there. And I'd go, oh, neat, cool, 444. Or, oh, neat, look, my birthday, 8/31. But then they got more persistent and more blatant to the point where I searched and started researching what number synchronicities meant. And it brought me to understanding that they're angelic numbers. They are messages from the universe trying to get our attention. And it got my attention. for sure. The synchronicities, pretty much after that, led into, as I spiritually started awakening, I started addressing my old belief systems, what they were, why I had them, where they came from, whether or not I still aligned with them. I started learning about trauma and pain and suffering and what that does on the human psyche and the soul. My wounds and trauma. Sorry for that little interruption there. My sister called me, and that was important, so I had to take it. I went to the mailbox today, and there was a beautiful card in there that said, "Hello, Sunshine," on it. And it was beautiful. I told her, "You made me cry." I'm like, I'm already almost crying today, and you made me cry. So anyway, I had to talk to her for a second and tell her thank you. And that was a really beautiful thing for her to do. Thank you, Dee. So anyway, back to figuring out and understanding who I truly am as an energetic being who has intentionally and purposely took on the mission of becoming a human during this time. We always knew that we had a soul, but we never understood or had the language for the soul, and finally we do. Over the last 2 years, this understanding and newfound truth has changed my entire life for the better. It's been difficult. It's been challenging. There's been loss of friendships. I was severely ill most of 2022 from Lyme's disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. I lost my ability to walk. It was pretty bad. There was a lot of suffering and pain that went on through the process. But what I realized later on was that to level up spiritually, universe, God, spirit, however you want to define our source creator, everybody is welcome here. You have to understand that we came here purposefully and intentionally with a specific mission. I know a lot of people that would be considered empaths, overgivers. They're in the nursing field, which is my family. I have a pastor in my family, my brother, and a missionary. I think all of us in our life have felt the need to be a positive influence on as many people as we can, and to kind of show them God's love and light through whatever way we chose to show it. And each of us have had our own paths. Going through my spiritual awakening over the last 2 years, it evolved. And over the last couple of months, my soul's purpose, or mission as I like to call it, has brought me to this exact moment. And to my absolute utter disbelief, I'm speaking to you today. I'm scared to death of putting myself out there to the world, to subject myself to criticism like so many of us have been in the past. Here I am. I'm pushing through all those fears, all those insecurities, because this is where Universe, God, Spirit has led me. I surrendered and I followed. When you have a calling of something that is meant for you to do, there's no denying it. You can sit and you can stew in it, and you can make up excuses, and you can change direction. But every time you get off your soul's purposeful timeline and you jimmy off the side road, it'll bring you back. And it brings you back with normally a pretty good lesson learned. I know I've learned quite a few myself. So I felt on Valentine's Day that this was the perfect day for us to all hang out and to have the first episode of Awakening from the Haze and share some love and light. And I really hope you all enjoy it, and thank you for listening to a little bit about my story and why I'm here. Love each of you for taking the time to stop in. So the last thing I kind of wanted to say before I talked about love and Valentine's Day was that during my spiritual awakening, I came across what I never understood even existed. I came across a person that was the catalyst for my spiritual awakening. My interaction with him catapulted my spiritual journey into really seeing the things that needed to be healed. But anyway, yes, I later discovered that I had a twin flame. And I don't know if any of you have heard of the twin flame phenomena that's going on right now. It's kind of like a soulmate, but twin flames are here and finding each other right now due to the shift that's going on energetically. So the twin flames are part of this whole new earth, this whole new reality that is being created out of love and light instead of the darkness that has invoked our planet for so long. So meeting him was a very instrumental part of all this. And today, especially on Valentine's Day, I felt that for all those twin flames that are out there and they're in separation, that you truly do need to just focus on loving yourself. You can't worry about what they're doing, what they're going through, if they're coming back, when they're coming back, or if you're just batshit crazy. Because during the twin flame process, or journey, let's call it a journey, much better word. During the twin flame journey, it has been very difficult, and I have seriously considered whether or not I needed a padded room. It's a tough one. A soul that decides to go on the twin flame journey and be here during this time, that is a very, very difficult path. It'll rip you down and tear you inside and out, and then build you back up again so full of love that you can't even see straight. And that's what I experienced. With that said, one of the things that I had told my twin flame when I met him, and I couldn't understand this connection we had, was that I just kept saying that you mattered, you mattered. So today I'm really here to spread the word that if you're listening, that you matter. Every ounce of everything that makes up you matters. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the broken, the strong. All those parts of you matter. One of my favorite singers of the last 2 years has been Jack Savaretti. I don't know too much about him except his music words melt me into another world. He has this song called Love of Your Life, and if you haven't listened to that song yet, you need to pull it up on YouTube and check it out. But it ends with this beautiful, beautiful message that says, we all want it, we all need it, we all feel it. Hold on. Hold on. It's tough right now. There's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of people scared. There's a lot of people not knowing what's going to happen. But you cannot focus on that fear. That fear brings you into a lower energy, a lower vibration. And that's where they want to keep you. They don't want you to be uplifted and step into your light and step in to know truly who you are and what your soul's purpose is. Eckhart Tolle wrote a wonderful book called The Power of Now. And in this book, he describes basically an energetic scale of our emotions. Trust me, this is not all technical. This is Cindy's version of how I understood it. So that's how I'm going to explain it to you. But our emotions can be measured and calculated as a number because they are energy and vibrating at a frequency. That frequency can be measured as we experience our emotions. Our makeup is an energetic being. And I have come to understand the physics of our being more and more. So Eckhart Tolle explains that when you are in the emotional state of fear, guilt, shame, regret, okay, which we all sit in those for quite a bit of our lives. I know I have. Fear, guilt, and shame vibrate on a scale of 0 being the lowest, around 200 to 300 or lower. So a very low energy vibration. Whereas if a person exudes happiness, love, and joy, they get up in the morning and they're ready to tackle the world and they love their life and they love who they are, well, those emotions register between the 600 and the 800s. So what I've learned from that is that as energetic beings, knowing that emotions that are low aren't good for us and they keep us out of our soul's purpose or out of our alignment, out of the timeline that is meant for us. Whereas if we stay in the high vibing emotions, love, joy, peace, and harmony, we vibrate high, and that aligns us with our soul's purpose and timeline. If we become mindful and we consciously observe our feelings and the emotions we are feeling, so throughout the day, kind of to do what I call like a vibe check, we can evaluate if where our mind is, where our thoughts are, where our emotions are, whether or not they're low energy and they're not benefiting us in any way, actually being detrimental to us and others around us. Or are we vibing high? Are we high energy? Some of this sounds probably pretty foreign, and I've really just tried to give an example of what I've come to understand. So by vibing high, this raises our frequency, it raises our mood, it helps us to improve the mood around others and the collective consciousness of all souls on the earth at this time. Your change in frequency into the upper frequencies can help to transmute higher energy to up 40 to 50,000 souls or more. Every emotion and feeling you have directly affects the vibratory rate of the planet's frequency. So I'm going to try to explain this as I understood it. If you think of a spider web and you have the center and then you have all the webs that extend out from the center but yet are still connected, that is how the universe works. The source, creator, God, universe, spirit is that center source, that source light, that love that binds us all together, and then we are the extensions of that source light. Love is not an emotion. It is the source light, a frequency that is within us and connects all of us together, whether we accept it or not, whether we like it or not, whether we try to deny it or not. We're all connected. To deny love from your life in any way, shape, or form, healthy, beautifully, unconditional love, is to deny your very existence. And we've been so separated from that love because we were made to see things with glasses on that were of fear, guilt, shame, no self-worth. We were made to feel that way so that we didn't love ourselves, so that we didn't know who we are or how powerful we are. The biggest change you can make in the world right now to help us transition through this shift, this broken and tattered world that we live in, yet this beautiful divine world, is to start by going within, to go inside yourself and to take the time and make the effort to learn how to unconditionally love yourself. Loving yourself will raise your own energetic vibration within your life. You don't have to worry about saving anybody else or raising anybody else's vibration or overgiving to any other situation. Right now, we need to be responsible for ourselves. I found a meme that I had saved on my tablet, and it was titled Self-Love, and it was written by Vibe Source. This person says, or writes, I should say, when you love yourself, you glow from the inside. You attract people who love, respect, and appreciate your energy. Everything starts with and how you feel about yourself. You attract people who love, respect, and appreciate your energy. Everything starts with and how you feel about yourself. Yourself. We've been taught to put everybody else first and then ourselves. That was incorrect. Start feeling worthy, valuable, and deserving of receiving the absolute best that life has to offer you. Be magnetic. Everything changes when you begin to love yourself. You no longer send out energy of desperation or need to be filled from the outside. You become a powerful source within yourself that attracts better. The more you love who you are, the less you seek validation and approval from others, things, or the outside world. Part of loving yourself, and this is the difficult step, trust me, I know, is forgiveness. Not just forgiveness of others. I'm talking about the forgiveness of yourself for the past. Forgiving yourself and surrendering and understanding that you are only human. You've learned the lesson, then you release the lesson. You came here energetically, spiritually, being to enter a human meat suit so that you can experience the lessons. You can go through the suffering and the pain so that Source, God, love, experiences those things through us. I'm looking at my dry eraser board and it says, the universe experiences life through us, residing in us, as us. When I grasped that concept, it was like, holy shit. All right, back to forgiving. Sorry, I got on a tangent there. Forgive yourself for not knowing better at the time. Forgive yourself for past behaviors. Forgive yourself for the survival patterns and traits you picked up while enduring the trauma in your life as a human being. Forgive yourself for giving away your power. Forgive yourself for being who you needed to be at that time. You only knew what you knew, so you can only be responsible for where you were at that moment. Once you know better and once you learn, then you have to take the next step, or else the universe will keep you repeating the same pattern over and over again until you figure it out. Carolyn Miss writes, facing personal truths and purging yourself of addictions or manipulative habits require I can't talk today. Require strength, courage, humility, faith, and other qualities of a soul with stamina, because you are not just changing yourself, you are changing the universe. Your soul is a compass. Change on your coordinate in your spiritual compass, and you change your entire life's direction. So think of your soul as a compass. As soon as you point it in another direction, and that's where you set your intention, that's where it follows. Changes direction. It shifts timelines, densities. Call them what you may. As I looked up, and I was typing this so that I could later make an audio file, I looked up and I saw 444. This was by a woman named Doreen Virtue, who describes the angel number 444, meaning that there are angels. They're everywhere around you. You are completely loved, supported, and guided by many heavenly beings right now, and you have absolutely nothing to fear. I decided to do something today that was fairly out of my comfort zone. The universe is giving you signs every day, in your sleep, on your timeline, in your conversations, on the radio, in the sky, in the synchronicities. Pay attention to them and start piecing them together. Be aware of them. When you start seeing number synchronicities, reach out and ask questions so that you can learn and you can go down the path being knowledgeable and prepared for your spiritual awakening. What this 444 number means is that this is the universe, God, Spirit, telling you that you are completely loved, supported, and guided by many, many heavenly beings And once again, you have nothing to fear. When you start paying attention to the synchronicities, you will notice a pattern. The universe is communicating with you. Don't be fearful of the future, regardless of what that TV says. Everything put out there right now is to make you fearful, so that you vibe in low energy, so that it keeps you in a lower reality. It doesn't want you to seek heaven on earth. It doesn't want you to experience heaven on earth. The energies coming to earth right now are so powerful. Source light is showering us. Anything not of love in our world right now is being pushed to the surface for healing. And you can see it. You can see it everywhere. Relationships, politics. It's a mess out there right now. And it is completely fear-based and put out there in order for you to be distracted on what you really should be paying attention to. And that's loving yourself. I decided that if I couldn't be with my twin flame this year, I just woke up this morning and I knew exactly what I had to do. The least I could do was send some love out into the universe and let him know how I feel. So I posted some songs to my Facebook page with the little twin flame heart, reminding him of what's on this other side of whatever he's going through right now. Even if he never looks at it, it doesn't matter to me. It's just like putting a message in a bottle and throwing it into the ocean. It's not about whether or not the person reads it or receives it. It's that you sent it. It's that you sent that love with no expectation of anything in return. That was leaving my comfort zone. To kind of put those feelings out there publicly after I did it was kind of elated. And then I'm like, oh man, you jackass, you're in for it now. But at the same time, it felt like the most loving thing I could ever do. The most selfless thing that I could do. And leaving your comfort zone is part of stepping into your light. No longer allowing fear to control your life and your reality. So in closing on this Valentine's Day, I'm asking you to take a look, maybe change your perception about waiting for other people or materialism to make you feel valued and loved. Stop waiting for the fairy tale of a knight in shining armor to come and save you from your own misery. Stop waiting to win the lottery. Stop waiting for the perfect relationship. Stop waiting to have a better job. Stop waiting for the number in your bank account to climb. Stop waiting for the perfect life. Your intention that you're putting out into the universe is that you are of lack. If all you do is want and waiting for something to come to you, that's sitting in low energy, and it's not putting you on your highest timeline, what's for your greatest and highest good. You need to go out there and create it. You need to be intentional. Through consumerism, we've been tempted our whole lives to chase and have all the beautiful things our heart desires. But the tools of how to create and manifest your desires have been intentionally withheld from you. As a spiritual being who came here to occupy a human body, those tools of who you really are and what you're capable of were intentionally withheld from you in order to enslave you. Your attention has been redirected by forcing all of us to live in a state of trauma and fear, always leaving us feeling like we are in a place of lack or without. I have a writing stuck on my wall, like many things stuck on my walls, that I can see from my bed, and it says, lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. Just because you can't see with your physical eyes what your life looks like in the future that you could create, it doesn't mean that it's not there. You just have to turn your focus onto it. It's time to turn off the news. It's time to go out into nature, take a breath of fresh air, and focus on loving yourself, loving your gift of life, loving your own personal process of being a spiritual being, having a human experience. Love your lessons, love your suffering, love your pain, love your journey. You aren't lacking anything. We are here for this journey, and we have the tools to fulfill our heart's every desire and turn our realities into heaven on earth. You just have to take the time, seek out the information, and use the tools that are given to do the work, and love with everything that you've got, and be grateful every day that you are here for every part of this absolutely beautiful experience. Thank you so much for joining me today. I apologize for any of my ums or misspokes, but this is going to take some getting used to. Appreciate you all. I hope you all have a beautiful Valentine's Day. I'm sending love and light to everyone, and I hope that you find some encouragement in this today. Love you. Bye.